human community and church community. So make your home a place of production. That could be a whole message on itself. We can brainstorm and talk about it later together. It'd be good conversation. But from there, we want to think bigger, all right? And remember, we're still thinking about how do we practically exercise dominion? How do we practically rule over God's creation? From there, we want to go bigger, right? We talked about self, home. What's next? Well, the world around us. We want to ask ourselves as Christians, is God's creation around me submitting to Him? And where it is not, we should be active in bringing that about as His representatives. And that really includes all areas of society, right? Our city councils, our law enforcement, our political leaders, right? Who, by the way, God explicitly says in Romans 13 that they are to be what? His servants. Literally deacons in the Greek. All right. How many people are going to their elected officials and reminding them that, hey, your position exists because God has given it to you and because you're to be His servant. And there's a standard by which you are to rule. And it's here, right? That used to be commonplace 200 years ago. It used to just be the way society was, at least in the West, right? In the 1700s and things, particularly in England and places. But we have removed ourselves from that largely. But we need to get back to that. But here's the thing I also want you to think about. Don't be that guy that knows how to fix all the political problems in the world, and you're at the city council meeting and you're ranting and raving, yet those other things we talked about are not in order. If your house is not in order, if yourself is not in order, you have no business calling the sphere of government to come under Christ, right? Get those other spheres of your life under Christ first. And, by the way, those other people will take you more seriously, right? You will be taken seriously if you have self-control and you have a well-ordered family, right? And if the Lord has not blessed you with children, right, if you have a well-ordered life and whatever else you do, people will take you more seriously. They will heed your counsel and your wisdom, right? So, we see from the foundation of the world that mankind is designed to do something with the earth on God's behalf. But we know that sin has entered the picture. And therefore, we need the gospel. Sin has to be dealt with, right? This creation that we are a part of is in rebellion to God. And it's not going to be what it was designed to be if it's not freed from sin. And that's where the gospel comes in. That's where the Great Commission comes in. Because it's Jesus dying on the cross and rising on the third day. That's what both frees us from sin and death through faith in Him. And not only are we promised salvation and resurrection, the earth is too. Paul talks about this in the book of Romans. We've looked at it before. In fact, we looked at it a year ago